Despite all of the print run issues, and even despite the fact that Ravensburger has stated they're not onboarding new stores because they likely are going to experience a lot of the same problems with Rise of the Floodborn releasing later this year, the Ravensburger and Disney Lorcana secondary market is still insane. And while we have tracked every single sold listing of sealed product on popular online marketplace TCG Player, it's time to go over some of the sales information and finally compare it to some other games, get a bit of perspective on Disney Lorcana's popularity, and talk what does that mean for the future of the Disney trading card game. Every time I make a Disney Lorcana video, it seems like I have to start by saying the same thing, and it's a little bit of a disclaimer. I'm a Disney Lorcana fan. It has brought my family together through one of my favorite hobbies. Yes, that's right. My family is finally interested in trading card games, albeit just a little bit. So I'm a fan of this game, and I realize that a lot of other people are as well, but that doesn't mean it hasn't had issues. Not sealed boxes, not getting the print run right, weighable packs, resealable troves, all of these things that you can possibly imagine are bad for a trading card game. But in spite of all this, Disney Lorcana continues to succeed, and even in spite of the fact that we know we're going to get more of the first chapter, people keep buying the boxes on the secondary market. So let's go over every single sold listing of all of these products on TCG Player, and let's finally do something that I've been looking forward to for some time. Let's compare it to other releases of trading card games and get a bit of perspective as to where Lorcana lives in our current ecosystem. But let's start with the big picture of Lorcana as a whole. As of the recording of this video, Lorcana has sold more than 7,000 boxes on the popular online trading card game marketplace, and those box breakdowns are extremely interesting. I will put that graph on the screen somewhere around here just to go over very quickly, but if you want access to all of this information via posts and things like that, make sure you join the channel membership. It's $5 a month, and every channel member gets access to all of my data and spreadsheets information. But that breakdown, the breakdown of those sales, is what makes this product so interesting. With the booster box still commanding an insane price on the secondary market, it still makes up for about 50% of every Disney Lorcana sale. That's right, every sale is 50% of every sale is a booster box. Now, the troves are experiencing increased popularity, and I believe it's due to their more normalized price point. I still think they're definitely expensive, and with Ravensburger, again, we've said it till we're blue in the face, going to reprint all of this stuff. It seems crazy to be buying this stuff right now, but listen, people clearly are, as this represents about the same number of sales on TCG Player that you would see a Magic the Gathering standard release have. And that's a popular Magic the Gathering standard release nonetheless. We're looking at something like Wilds of Eldraine, or even back to when we were tracking data for the Brothers War. That's right, the first release of Disney Lorcana can be considered to be extremely popular. But that goes without saying. I mean, I think we knew with the Disney IP backing this thing, and people like me and my family just looking to experience something that they love, the trading card game world, the fresh smell of cardboard in the Disney IP, and have the opportunity to share that with people, is something that is going to go a long way. But let's not get it twisted. This is not the next big thing already in trading card games. There's plenty of issues to overcome. And I've stated several times, and I will continue to believe this. Right now, as we sit, as of the recording of this video, Disney Lorcana gets to break the model just a little bit. Our love for the Disney IP and the fact that this game goes so wide and appeals to so many people out there is what gives it the grounds to break some of the rules. If another trading card game would have released with a box that, let's say, didn't have a seal on it, where you could slip your hand in there and take out a pack, sell that box on the secondary market, or take out all the packs, weigh them, pull out all the good stuff, and then repackage the box, well, this would be a major issue, especially with people like you and I who are interested in not only like the value of the cards, but the box opening experience, limited play, group play, anything like that is going to be a big downside for people who are ingrained in the trading card game community. But so many people involved in Disney Lorcana just aren't that. They're just Disney fans, their nephews and nieces and grandchildren and kids of fans, and this game just gets to break that rule for now, but it won't forever. They are going to use up a lot of that equity if they continue to have these problems, and I have stood by that for some time. But just to gain a little bit of perspective, we talked about how this compares to a Magic the Gathering set on release. Mind you, Disney Lorcana has been around for longer than just leading up to a pre-release of a Magic the Gathering set, so over the long term, obviously Magic being this massive community is going to outsell all of these other games. But if you compare it to something major, and I believe the first chapter is, the first Disney Lorcana product deserves to be compared to something major. We'll look at no further than Pokemon 151, where I've collected all the sales data as well. It looks like we're less than half of the total sales on TCG Player. And the reason I say this is not to squash down Lorcana or to say like, look, see, I told you nobody's buying this product. It's to remember that Disney has a wide reach, and Lorcana has been wildly successful. It's in the hands of more people than I ever would have imagined it to be. More people are playing games every single week, whether in paper or on digital formats like Pixelborn, than I could have thought possible. It's still a new trading card game, and when you go up against the likes of Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, you are always going to come up a bit short, and when you play in that arena, you have to make sure to fix your issues rather quickly. Pokemon and Magic, they get a little bit of a runway based on 30 years of history and consistent success. Wizards of the Coast and Pokemon have proven they can kind of get away with dropping the ball for a couple sets one after another. Heck, we track every single sold listing for Magic product here as well, and if you look back through the Adventures in the Forgotten Realm era, and even, a set that it pains me to say it because I love it so much, but Streets of New Capenna, these were not, very widely popular sets, and Magic was really not harmed at all for them being chained Adventures in the Forgotten Realm, Midnight Hunt into, things like Streets of New Capenna and Dominaria United even. The community wasn't devastated like it would have been if you looked at Lorcana. But on the flip side, Lorcana does have a benefit that a lot of other trading card games won't get. I track Flesh and Blood sets here, and while Flesh and Blood Bright Lights is the latest release, the pre-sales for Bright Lights on TCG Player was only about 250 boxes, where the current sales sit at around, I think it's 460 or 470. I'll have to double check that and check in the comment section below. Maybe I'll pin that information down there. But that stuff is just kind of gives you a bit of perspective. While Lorcana is playing in this different arena, it plays a lot differently than a lot of these other indie TCGs do. And when it comes to something like Sorcery, the latest release, which by the way, I'm super excited for. I can't wait to follow that information. And for those who don't know, who have seen my other streaming setup, I am collecting a lot of really cool Sorcery cards. I love the art in that product. It's important to remember how to differentiate this. But when it comes to Disney Lorcana, it goes to show that the game got to come out with a bigger bang. There was a much larger platform, a brighter stage for Ravensburger to put their product on display when it comes to some of these other trading card games. And there's good and bad there, right? As we said, with all these issues, Lorcana gets a little bit more play and a little bit more runway, but those bright stages, and what is the saying? To whom much is given, much is expected, and Lorcana's gonna have to live up to that. Now, when it comes to the second set release, I don't think we're going to get anything groundbreaking. I think we're going to see a lot of these issues. And I think we're going to see Ravensburger butt up against a problem that we see with Wizards of the Coast all the time. I made a video earlier this week, and if I remember, I'll link it here. I know this is just a short one kind of talking about some Lorcana stuff, but hey, I think this video is pretty interesting. Talking about how Wizards of the Coast is kind of driving us into this new era of Magic the Gathering, whether it's the play booster, changing how the standard formats work, trying to give regular Magic releases more of a home. We are seeming to kind of shift the way the Magic community views the Magic the Gathering product, but it can't happen all at once. When you're a bigger trading card game and you need more products, you need more boxes, and you have more sets, it's harder to move the ship, as they say, and Ravensburger's going to experience that. That's why I really don't think Set 2 is going to experience this drastic shift that we all wish it would have. And listen, I'll be frank, I think Disney Lorcana is one of those products that is great if you just put it out and it's always available. Like, for the first year, if the first chapter was available, the box dropped a little bit below MSRP, but everybody who wanted to open Disney characters on cards could. I think this product does extremely well. The more people you can get your early sets in the hands of, I think the better. Now there's a balancing act there, right? We've learned also from Wizards of the Coast and some other companies that we've actually talked about in this video, You can't just take your first couple sets and print a trillion boxes and be like, hey, I really hope things go well. You still have to kind of size your print run to your community, but I don't think it's feasible to say that with as much or as wide as the Lorcana community is, Ravensburger can just print everything and make it okay. But they can fix some other things so they don't use up some of that equity. I do expect to see wrapped booster boxes. Now, that just, make sure you're subscribed here. Not only are we racing to 6750, but I want to follow up on this, because if they don't wrap the booster box this time around after the community outrage, that would just be mind-boggling. I've heard rumors that say they're going to wrap it, but like, who knows? And with the collector product for Disney Lorcana, I mean, they might be, in my opinion, maybe expanding and going a little bit too wide, too quick with their product lineup. Maybe let's keep it steady and slow and just kind of get everybody the cards they need first before we start printing these additional boxes, before we start burning through, like I said, that community equity that we've built up. But hey, we're going to find out. But I think the real litmus test is going to be around set 3 to set 4, where I really want to see them start to settle in and get these things figured out. Logistically, it should give them time to catch up with the demand that they clearly did not think was happening. And this is the same leeway I would give to any new trading card game. We talked about sorcery, right? And we were going to track all the sorcery sales data, and I love collecting sorcery. I think it's a beautiful card game, but it is something different than what I've ever experienced. Having this long standing release cycle where a sorcery set comes out, and whether it's 9 months to a year or whatever the release cycle ends up being, having a product be forced to satisfy a community for that long is something I'm not used to. And what I believe is, as sorcery learns and grows, they get a little bit of that leeway to make changes to support their community, to support their game, and do what they see fit to be best for their community. And I think it's only fair we give Lorcana the same little bit of leeway. Now, I do want to close this video by saying, with all the information, and this is the comment that I get. I already know you're putting it in the comment section below. The comment that I get every time is, I hate this game. It is just for speculators. It's just flippers. Well, guess what? This game came out at this point a good, over 2 months ago. It's not just speculators and flippers anymore. Ravensburger has said, till they're blue in the face, they're going to print as much of this stuff as they possibly can. This stuff is going to be around. It's going to be readily available. If you're buying these boxes at $350 and hoping they go up to $360 and making $10 a box, or cracking doing all that work for singles, listing them on TCG Player, taking a bath in fees, and somehow hopefully making your money back, that doesn't seem like a great flip model to me. Like, I just don't see that. And I know you're gonna, no, you're wrong, this is exactly what's happening. I think people are buying the product and buying the box because guess what? They like it. The EV is probably right around balanced. People are getting cards that they perceive to have value and that they love to play with. And I think we're seeing a lot of that here. But listen, I'm open to you disagreeing with me, and I know my Lorcana takes in the regular trading card game community, in a community that's cultivated on the things that we know and have believed so strongly for some time. It's a completely drastic shift in how things work, and I understand that. I'm working hard to wrap my mind around it. I only ask that maybe you see Lorcana as playing a bit differently from those rules, much like a Pokemon would, where we don't expect to see all of these people playing this game and prices fluctuate so rapidly. But let me know what you think about this Disney Lorcana sales data in the comments section below. Does anything surprise you about the information I gave you today? And do you think Rise of the Floodborn will experience some of these same problems as this release, or do you think it's going to be problem-free, problem-full, whatever you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Finally, if there's a place you interact with Disney Lorcana market conversation, the value of cards, how many boxes sold, etc., etc., make sure you share this video. I love growing our Lorcana community. I love more thoughts and more opinions about how this game is going and how the community is kind of living in this cardboard world. And to do that, we have to grow that community and share kind of our thoughts and let them share their thoughts with us. So before I let you guys go, thank you so much for hanging out again. We're racing to 6750 subs. I appreciate each and every one of you guys out there. Thanks for coming by today. Until next time, you guys know me. My name is Josh, and well, we'll be around. I'll see you soon.